everyone, and welcome to card number 4 of my birthday series. So I'm using this little crap stamp from the CC Designs Sugar Plums Beach Kit, and I stamped it onto CC Designs white cardstock with Memento ink, and then I started off with YR31 just along the edges, and then I added my YR23, and the whole point is I'm going to kind of blend two very different sets of colors together. So I blended out the YR31 with the YR23 and then blended it back again with the YR31. And then I'm going in with R35 and I'm just lightly feathering the color down towards the yellow and then up towards the yellow on his little claws. So not quite hitting the yellow in some spots, and then basically to feather the color, to blend them like this, two completely different colors. You just kind of feather the color back and forth over and over again to get a decent blend. I haven't really done this in a really long time. It was something I learned in the certification class, like whenever that was, 3 years ago or something. It takes practice to do. You have to keep going back and forth. It helps if you've got like a heavier weight cardstock like the CC Designs, this 110 pound. Just because then that way it gives you a little bit more leeway to go back and forth with color without bleeding outside of the lines. So you just kind of keep fiddling with it till you get it the way you want, and just kind of gotta practice with it. So I kept going back and forth, and then I added the R37, blended that with the R35, and then again went kind of back and forth with the R35 and the YR31 until I got it the way I wanted it. And then once I was kind of happy with the blend between the red and the yellow, I went back in with the YR23 just to kind of deepen that a bit. And I didn't worry too much about going outside the line since I was planning on cutting out the little guy. So once I'm happy with it, it's just a matter of cutting it out, which again I always do off camera because it's really hard for the camera to focus when I'm using scissors. So once I got that, I'm using the Fancy Pants Beach Bum papers as my card base, and I'm going to do a little 4 1/4 inch square card for this little thing. So I grabbed a piece of CC Design sand cardstock, and this little tool is the Stampin' Up! Color Spritzer. You can use it with any water-based markers. I've even shown a video using it with Copics. I just grabbed one of my distress markers, this is the Vintage Photo one, and then spritzed it onto the cardstock, and just to make, basically I'm making it look like sand. And then I tore the top edge of it. So then once I've got that the way I want it, I grabbed a sentiment from my Oh So Beachy sentiment set, and that's why I chose the little crab image for this card. I chose the sentiment first, then the image, and then found the pattern paper to match. I always have people ask like kind of my design process, and it's always different, but that's what started off this. I saw that, you know, I'd made the sentiment, found the little image, and then went from there. So once I've got that, I've got the pattern paper adhered, and then I kind of roughed up the little torn edge of the sand, adhered that, and then adhered the last piece of pattern paper over top of it, just keeping this card front really simple because I wanted that blue, like the water pattern paper to show really well. And then I decided to adhere the little crab with dimensional, so I just used these little 3D ones because they're small enough for a tiny little image like this. So get the backing peeled off, and then I got him stuck onto the sand. And then I grabbed some denim twine, the baker's twine, and wrapped that around the card front and tied that in a bow, keeping this embellishments and whatnot fairly simple. Since I was going for a more boy theme this time, since I do mostly girl cards, I get a lot of requests for masculine and boy cards, obviously, because they're the hardest to make cards for. So this time it's a boy card. So adhered the card front to a piece of red cardstock, and then I'm adhering that to my card base, which is again the CC Design sand cardstock, and again 4 1/4 inch square card. And I couldn't resist. I had to add just a little bit of sparkle, but just to the bottom and the tips of the crab, just to give it a little something without being like glittery or girly, if you know what I mean. So once I got that done, I went on to the inside of the card, and I just used the pieces left over from making the outside of the card. So adhered the little water piece to the stripe, and then the little green strip along the top. And then I just cut another piece of the sand cardstock for the spot to write something on. And I just did the same thing, spritzed it to make it look like sand, and then grabbed the coordinating sentiment from the Oh So Beachy set. And just like I did in the front, using my stamp positioner so that I get it positioned straight just along the bottom of the paper. And oh, I'm using VersaFine if it didn't show earlier in the video. It's been a long day. I can't even think straight. But yeah, VersaFine Onyx Black ink for the sentiments. So I've got that stamped. And then same thing, I just tore the top so that everything kind of coordinates. And then I'm just going to adhere that to the inside part. And then I'm going to adhere all of that to the inside of the card. So as always, there'll be a link to my blog with a link to all the supplies used. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye!